Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. I have something here for our lesson today that I need to show you guys. Can you guess what it is? I think you'll be disappointed, actually. It is, I don't know if you can see that, I got a plate of veggies. Yay! Look at that. Let's see what's on my plate of veggies. I've got a cucumber. Kind of looks like a zucchini, but it's actually a cucumber. I've got some celery. And I've got a whole bunch of, can you see those? Sorry, let me do it this way. Carrots. Yeah, these are baby carrots. And you're probably wondering, like, why the heck does she have a plate of vegetables at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning? It's not my lunch. It's not my breakfast. Because vegetables are really good for you, right? We all know that. Or how many times do our parents say, eat your vegetables? I heard it when I was growing up. I'm sure you guys hear it at the dinner table. Eat your vegetables. Well, do you know what? Even in Bible times, they had to eat their vegetables. They ate a lot of vegetables, actually, because they could grow them. But our story today is about Daniel, and it comes from the book of Daniel. And I'm going to read it to you, and it's got these really cool pictures again. But guess what our story is titled? Can you see that? It's called Eat Your Vegetables. So I'm going to read this story about our vegetables, and then we can talk about it, okay? So let me just, here we go. Can you guys see that? Okay, I think so. The story of what happens to a royal captive from Judah begins when Daniel and his three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, enter the city of Babylon at the end of their 900-mile march from Jerusalem. Did you hear that? 900 miles. That's a heck of a march. So, what do you think they'll do to us, Daniel? I don't know, Shadrach, but I'm sure that God is with us. Soon after the prisoners reach the city, Daniel and several others are brought before an officer of King Nebuchadnezzar. King Nebuchadnezzar says, as nobles from Jerusalem, you will be given a chance to try out for positions in the king's court. But I warn you, you must be strong, smart, and handsome. The chief official moves through the ranks of exiles, and he stops in front of Daniel. If your God is so powerful, Daniel, why did he let you Hebrews be conquered? Daniel replies, doesn't a father sometimes need to punish his own children? The chief official goes, that's a good answer. Move the page over. Then on the next day, they say, you have been chosen. Now you'll be given 3 years to study under our wise men. After that, the king himself will choose the best qualified to be his advisors. As a bonus, you'll get to eat the extra food from the king's table. The young men are assigned to a room at the palace to begin their studies. And even though they're technically captives, they receive the best of everything, including the king's food. Here you go, the best food in the kingdom that's even been blessed by our god Marduk. Well, they look at the food. We can't eat this. It's been dedicated to a Babylonian idol. So they say to the guard, or to the king, thank you for the honor you have shown us, but our Hebrew laws forbid us from eating your meat and wine. Please, just give us plain vegetables and water. Vegetables and water? That's not enough food for growing young men. I need you looking strong and well-fed, or the king will have my head. Well, how about this? Test us for a few days. Let us eat our plain food, and then see how we compare to the others who are eating the king's food. So for 10 days, the other trainees eat their steak and their fine wine taken from the temple of Marduk. And Daniel and his three friends eat nothing but boiled vegetables and water. And if you look at that picture at the bottom there, you can see them. There's the three eating the meats and stuff, and then there's the 3 or 4 eating their bowls of salad and vegetables. All right, so let's turn the page. All right. There we go. There you go. So at the end of the 10 days, there's no doubt, Daniel and his friends not only look better, but they're clearly stronger and faster than their peers. So the guard says, fine, eat whatever you want. Well, after this, the 4 young Hebrews busy themselves with their studies, learning everything that their Babylonian teachers can teach. But even though they're keeping themselves pure from ungodly food, they worry about their ungodly studies as well. Why are we studying Babylonian history, one says, and their gods and the astrology? We don't believe in any of that. Well, for better or worse, this is the culture that we live in. It's good to understand their ways. We just don't have to follow them. The 4 young men consistently pray to God 3 times a day in answer to their faithfulness. God gives them the knowledge and wisdom. And at the end of the 3 years, the young men are taken before the king, and he talks with each one and then makes his decision. I have chosen these 4, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, to serve in my government. They are 10 times better than all my magicians, my enchanters, and my advisors. So that's the end of our story for today. And like I said, that came from the book of Daniel. Now, I wanted to go over a little bit of the story with you, and we'll just talk about it a little bit. And then I did post 2 activity pages on the Facebook page that you can look at, and you can either print them out and do them, or you can just talk about them by looking at them on the screen. But in our devotional part of the story, we have a key verse, and our key verse is, Daniel said to the guard, quote, please give us the test for 10 days. Don't give us anything but vegetables to eat and water to drink. And that comes from Daniel 1, verse 12. So then we have this X-ray vision, and that's where we dive deep in and study the story. Where would you rather eat? At an all-you-can-eat buffet or a prison? I don't know. Easy choice, right? Have any of you ever been to the Shady Maple Buffet? Oh my goodness, there's so much food that you can choose from. Fortunately, it's not open right now with the COVID, but when everything gets back to normal, I recommend you go to the Shady Maple Buffet because they have amazing amounts of food. Anything you could possibly want. Well, this would have been an easy choice for most of us to say, oh, well, definitely I'll take the buffet. I don't want to eat in a prison. And that's probably what Daniel and his friends were thinking when they got captured and taken to Babylon. But with their prison food, instead of moldy bread, they were offered great feasts of steak and wine. And they were probably like, holy smokes, that's a lot of good food. But not so fast. The problem was that the king's food had been dedicated to idols. That means that the king had prayed over them, but not for our God, for their God. And it was not a true God. And Daniel and Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego must have been very hungry, and they were growing young men, but they wanted to keep themselves pure from anything having to do with fake gods. So they ate only vegetables. I got my carrots here. They ate vegetables and they drank water. But guess what? They became stronger and healthier than all the other men who were eating all the what we would consider good, yummy food. Nobody's sacrificing your plate in front of little statues. But are you eating at like fast food places or junk food places or things like that? Yeah, you know what? We do eat unhealthy a lot. We all do. And, sometimes we got to think about, like, God gave us this body. We got to take care of it. And we got to eat healthy. And it's okay once in a while to have a treat, but we really need to remember to eat our fruits and vegetables and our good food and keep ourselves pure and try to, do what God would want us to do with our bodies. Maybe choose a salad instead of French fries. But I do love French fries. So, like I said, every once in a while it's okay. But it's good to eat healthy. That's what God would want us to do, take care of this body He gave us. And don't be surprised if when you start eating healthier, you're going to feel better and stronger and everything. So, the next part of our story, or our lesson whatever you want to call it, is called Your Mission. So this is your mission this week, guys. I want you to try to go all week without picking out, like without eating one of your junk foods. Let's say you really love devil dogs. Well, don't eat a devil dog this week. Or let's say you really like, I don't know, cupcake or a cookie. See if you can go without. It's hard, I know. And a lot of times during Lent, we try to do that, try to give up some things, but it's not easy. So I just want to kind of experiment here and see if you can do it. Here's a tough one. It says drink water instead of soft drinks all week. That would be tough for me. I'll have to admit, anybody who knows me knows I love my Diet Pepsi. So that would be tough to give up my Diet Pepsi. I do love water. I do drink a lot of water, but I don't know if I could give up my Diet Pepsi. So that's going to be a challenge for me. And then number 3 is plant something that you can eat. What are some things we could plant to eat? We can plant tomatoes. I got tomatoes growing in my garden. They're not red yet, and my dog likes to eat them, so I'm not sure how many I'll get to put in my salad. But I do have tomatoes growing. You can grow beans or herbs and other vegetables like cucumbers or carrots. There's lots of things you could grow to eat. And it makes you appreciate your food more if you have to work hard to grow it rather than just go buy it in the store like I did with these things. So there's your 3 challenges. Try to go without eating something that you love all week. Try to only drink water instead of soft drinks. And see if you can plant something that you could eat like tomatoes or beans or whatever. All right, so here are the 2 pages that I posted on our Facebook page for you to talk about at home. And it says your debrief. How do you feel after going without some unhealthy food? Like if you cut out some junk food, how do you feel later? I bet you kind of feel better. Sometimes you don't want to admit it to yourself, but you do actually feel better. And then, why do you think God cares about how you treat your body? Okay, we all know that God created us, so I think God would want us to take good care of ourselves. And then, do you really think about what you're saying when you pray before eating? And I hope you do all pray before eating. It's nice to give thanks for our food before we go and eat it, because God does provide for us. Whether it's in the garden, growing them, or at the food store, buying them, He's provided that food for us. So we should always say thank you before we eat. We should say grace. Don't mind me. Okay, and then mission accomplished. Here are some things you can discuss with your parents. It says, what did you learn? And what do you want to remember from the story? And then at the bottom it says, share the adventure. And it says, help your mom or dad cook a healthy meal with fresh ingredients. So there's your challenge this week. And if you guys want to reply to our Facebook page or post something that you did cook a meal with your parents or you did any of these things, just post it on there. I'd love to see it and see how you did with this, okay? And then here it says the big picture page and the people I admire most. So think about people that you admire and that you look up to and that maybe go along with a story, or maybe for a different reason you admire them, and you can draw a picture of them in that page there, okay? All right, so this week, remember, try to eat healthy with your vegetables, your carrots, cucumbers. I'm going to be making a salad later for my dinner. So it's good to try to eat healthy. And it's kind of easier in the summertime because there are lots of fruits and vegetables readily available and cheaper in the store than during the rest of the year. So try to take advantage of that. I want you guys this week to think about your food. When you're about to sit down to eat, think about what God has provided for you. Think about Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and the choices they made. And that probably was not an easy choice to sit there and watch everybody else eating the yummy food, and they chose to eat the healthy food that they knew God wanted them to eat. He knew God was not happy with the food that had been blessed by the other God, so he said, no, we're going to eat the healthy stuff. So think about that this week when you sit down for your dinner. Okay, we're going to pray, and I still want you to keep Mr. Fisher in your prayers. He's back in the hospital again, and he just needs to know that we're all praying for him. Okay? Sam Wiley. And Sam Wiley, too. Sam Wiley is, she's sort of outgrown the Sunday school. She just graduated high school. But she's been sick, too, so we want to keep her in our prayers. Okay? Okay. So, everybody bow your heads. All right. Dear Jesus, thank you for all your blessings this week. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for whoever is tuning in and listening. We thank you that everyone's, thinking about you, worshiping you on Sunday morning. And thank you for our story today about Daniel and his friends and the tough choices they made to honor you and to worship you, Lord. And help us and give us support when we have choices that we have to make. That maybe it's easier or more fun to make the good, the other choice, but we know that you wouldn't want us to do that. You'd want us to pick whatever is healthier or better for you. So help us with our choices this week, Lord. We ask that you bless Sam Wiley and help her to feel better, Lord. Help her to fight whatever illness she does have. And we ask that you bless the family and keep them safe and healthy. We ask that you bless Jim Fisher, Lord, as he struggles and fights this disease. And we ask that you help him to gain strength this week and to be able to go home again. And we ask that you bless Mrs. Fisher also, Noel, and keep her and give her strength as she tries to support Jim. So all these children, Lord, are listening, and we ask that you bless them, be with them this week, let them have an awesome week, let them have fun this summer, and help them to remember to eat their vegetables. And all God's children said, Amen.